fatal heart impacts, past painful scars. In fact, I blast tasteful bars and pass. I back up my actions, fact don't ask, grab reactions, jacked attack with every word, then act with class as they hear me snap. I got nothing to lose, cause I fought and felt the bruise. Now I'm not the one confused, call the shots and they produce. I ain't lost, I'm finally loose. Pick a new silver excuse, I need the views to boost me to a new abuse of being used. Everybody wants a piece now, y'all can rest in peace now. You're dead to me, so peace out. Remember, you're discreet out. Get ready for defeat now.
Alrighty, hello everybody. This is Kirusho here. Now, before I do begin, I'm going to flip a quarter. This quarter has decided the fate of a lot of my witnessed before in the past. Heads for a small time skip, tails for a large one. Okay, tails it is. Now, let's see. We will pick up with Izuku, Midoriya, Celine, and Toga. Midoriya was at the age of 15, almost 16. Now, Midoriya and these two, they have been on the run for the last 5 years. Midoriya, he has been running. And with the help of Celine and Toga, they have been able to keep ahead of the threat. Now, it was difficult at first. Midoriya trying to manage the hunger, and Celine trying to keep a leash on him. Ironically. Now, Midoriya, he actually did pose a very big threat to a lot of vampires. The Lycan, they weren't too concerned with him. The many that he did encounter, yeah, he would take down and usually kill. Others that he would try and interrogate and use their blood to get information. However, the vampires, they are afraid of waking up Marcus. They know that if they bring him back or resurrect him now, then there is a very good chance that he will lose it. Especially because of things that have happened in the past. Now, with that all being said, we do pick up with a man who is currently walking down the street, as he is being followed by 2 people. Now, the man would then turn down the street and begin walking, him actually busting out into a full-on sprint, as he does take the first right into an alleyway. Now, the moment he does get halfway through, somebody does jump down and land, smashing down right in front of the man as they do stand up. The man smashing into this person as he does go falling backwards, looking up to see Izuku Midoriya. Now, Izuku Midoriya, in this amount of time, his body has matured. He is now full grown, and his power has been increasing in these years. Now, the man does see Midoriya, talking about how he's the abomination, turning and going to try and outrun him. However, the moment he does, we actually have somebody else there, Celine, who does hold up a gun directly in front of this person, as Midoriya would bring his hand up onto the back of their neck. Celine saying that he has some information that they do want. Now, this one from Midoriya does actually bite into the man's neck and go to see memories. Now, the man, he does feel great pain. However, Celine, she uses covering his mouth as Midoriya is feeding. As Midoriya does throw the man against the wall, the man passing out from the amount of blood that Midoriya has taken from him. Now, Celine does ask Midoriya if he knows what they do need. Midoriya reverting back, as he actually would wipe away his mouth and just say that there's something there. There's a radio frequency and Morse code. Why would we need those? It's part of a system. Things aren't very clear. I think this is how they communicate and talk to the first immortal. I see. So, do you remember the frequency? Yes. Roy is saying it aloud that it's this one. And her just saying that that's good. Now, these two would then walk back down the street. Midoriya, he is wearing an actual shirt that can accommodate his larger size when he does transform. As they do get back into a car and begin to drive off. Celine talking about how Toga's been gathering intel at certain areas of the city and asking him if he really is still okay. Yeah, I am. After that last fight, things got a bit dicey. Almost lost my head there for a minute. You do need to be more careful. We've had plenty of encounters with pros, and even the media. However, they just think that we're run-of-the-mill villains. You were still able to hide because of your form. I, however, am different. Yeah, I know. Besides, how many more years do we have until Marcus awakens? With most of the Council of Elders gone, and, well, the one you killed dead, there's only two. I believe that they awoke the one who isn't as volatile. Her saying his name. Talking about how and if, in 95 years, they're still alive, they'd have to deal with Marcus. That's true, yeah. But even then, Lycans and vampires, they still won't listen to me. We tried, a couple months ago with some Lycan? Fucking mindless animals. They would not listen. Even though I'm one of them. Izuku, this is tough and challenging. You're trying to restructure a hierarchy that has been in place for, well, eons. Ever since the dawn of man, almost. Damn near close to it. And, well, no one ever said it was going to be easy. Yeah, I get that. Ray would say. Now, they do eventually arrive at the location. As we do have Toga, who she actually is prepping some solar grenades. Being very, very careful that they are not armed. Along with her actually, forcibly putting silver tips into bullets. And basically making their own ammunition. Now, Toga does ask them exactly if everything went well. To which Midori would say that it did. They're going to get in contact with the first immortal now. Or at least try. Now, Midori would walk away. As he does walk into a shipping container and pull out something. Him walking back over and just sitting it down on the table. Grabbing the cord and trying to plug it into the wall. Now, with that he does get everything set up. It was all a bit heavy and bulky, but it does work. Midoriya then actually changing it over to these settings and then going to run it over an FM radio. Now, with that being said, Midoriya, he does actually just grab the thing. And they do wait. Now, I do want to say that Celine does know Morse code for exactly just the reason that she's been alive for a very long time, and it would be a useful skill. Especially for nonverbal communication over a long distance. Now, Celine does begin to hear what they're saying, or at least the beeping that she can translate. Now, they're basically talking about how, very soon, they need to take action. And with the way the war has been going, Lycans are almost turning the tides in their favor. Certain regions over here and here, they have not been going very well. And with the current state of things, the key is still missing. Now, that does confuse Celine. Key? What key? Now, this is whenever another conversation is also going on, talking about how they need to be a lot more careful. If Marcus finds Celine, then it will get a lot more challenging. He will release William. And then what would happen? Them knowing the exact dangers that he does face, and the threat they'd have to deal with. Now, this is all quite peculiar, as they do just listen in a bit more, up until radio contact is about to be ended. Midoriya telling Celine to say something, to which she doesn't really know what to say. Her actually just being to tap down on the radio, and she actually does speak instead of just tapping down on the receiver, talking about how they're actually very well hidden, and Marcus isn't awakened yet, because if he was, he would have found them ages ago. Now, this does confuse everybody on the receiving ends of these transmissions. She's been listening in on them. Now, we actually do have the first immortal, who he does walk over to a console and take the headset off of somebody, and put it on, as his voice does come through the actual radio, saying that it's been a very long time, and that he doesn't believe that he's seen Celine for what could have been eons, or hundreds upon hundreds of years, not since she was a child. Now, Celine does actually go to talk on the radio, her pressing the button as Midoriya does actually grab her hand and bring the radio up to his, bring the speaker up to where his face is. Say that his name is Izuku Midoriya, and he knows who he is, right? Izuku Midoriya. No, I do not. You call me the hybrid abomination. Yes, I believe we do. The name given you by the vampires. Are you sure? 'Cause aren't I the bridge? I do not know. You are very tricky. In fact, you're a descendant of one of my sons, are you not? What? Apparently so. Why? I wish to meet you. You want to meet me. And how do I know that this isn't just a trap? That you don't have this Marcus guy already awakened? And that you're not planning to kill me? Young man, if I planned to kill you, I would have sent my men after you a long time ago. They're more heavily trained, more heavily armed, and so what? Do you know how many people I've killed in the last 5 years for my own survival? How many people I've outsmarted because they think I'm just some dumb Lycan? I can tell you it's been plenty. And I'm a lot more well versed in my abilities. Thank you very much. Now, the Immortal and Deku do have a conversation. Midoriya basically talking about how he is not very trusting of this man. However, the man does just say that he will give his word that no harm will come to them, and that he can even bestow upon them a gift. Now, Midoriya, he is not buying this, as he does just ask what this gift will be. The man informing Midoriya that he will allow them to walk in the sunlight, to which Midoriya does just say that he already has that ability. I'm sorry, what? Yeah, I'm the Daywalker. So, try again. I see. Well, not very much I can offer you. However, would you be willing to follow one of my orders? Follow an order from you? Sure thing, Gramps. What do you want? End the war. Hmm? Yes, the children of my children. They've been killing each other for a very long time. I've seen countless death. And I'm frankly just tired of it. With the emergence of quirks and what I believe will happen later on in the line, it would be much better if this world didn't just boil down to hundreds of years later, where vampires and werewolves are chasing each other across open fields and trying to kill one another. I would rather not witness that as the last final days of humanity. So if you would please end this war. Now. And if I refuse, well, then I believe that I would then send my own forces after you. You will be brought in alive, as tricky as that may be. Sure, Gramps, sure. How about this? Meeting location, that's it, our terms. Very well. Now, what will those terms happen to be? Let's see. Now, Midoriya would say a very public place. Let's say in the middle of a shopping mall. He can meet him there at noon next week. Alright then. Any particular city? Now, Midoriya would say the city that is about 2 to 3 hours away from them. Since they can hide out here, and the very day they need to go, they can head in during the early morning. Midoriya can stash the car somewhere nearby and meet him alone. Now, the man does just agree to these terms, as they do basically cut ties on the radio transmission. Now, Midoriya would just close the transmission and pull the plug on the radio, as he does just go to walk away. Now, Midoriya would walk downstairs and go to one of the rooms that he has repurposed, since they've been hiding out around here for about the last couple months. So they've been able to get a bit more comfortable, you could say. Now, Midoriya does lay down on a makeshift bed. It isn't too good. It's basically just a bunch of old sacks filled with something, and, an old blanket or something that, let's say a brand new blanket they were able to at least buy. Now, Midoriya, he is just laying down, and he is thinking. With all the equipment that they've been able to salvage and repurpose as of the moment, they've been able to stay decently ahead of everyone. And things are a bit difficult. Midoriya actually going to drift away to sleep, as he immediately closes his eyes before he does see the past. Him actually jumping up and screaming, as we do have Celine who does come running into the room, her holding up a gun as she does see Midoriya. Him actually reverting back because he changed in his sleep. And he does just go to throw the blanket over as he does go to stand up. Now, Midoriya, he's trying to catch his breath, because he remembered the past. All the people that he's ruthlessly butchered. At first, it was just anybody, but then he tried to target villains. Then, as his powers grew more and more, so did his hunger. There was a day where he thought he could just cut it out. Cut out certain things. he tried just sustaining himself on the meat and on the blood. Both times he did try these options, they weren't too good. Even using little blood or little amounts of blood wasn't too bad. It just made the cravings worse and worse. It's almost like you're addicted and you can't get enough. And there was a time he blacked out. He woke up surrounded by a pile of corpses. And they were so mangled he couldn't even identify anyone, not even by their face. Now, Celine actually would walk in and ask Izuku if he's alright. Now, she would actually walk over and sit down, ask him if he's okay. Now, the way he does is to have his fingers directly on his head, as he's trying to just compose himself. Now, Celine, she actually does set the gun down, and go to bring her hand up on Midoriya's shoulder. Midoriya actually flinching when she did do that, as she's just paying her no mind. You know, I am here if you ever do want to talk. Midoriya turning to look at her. You aren't alone in all this. These challenges that we are currently taking, they will be hard to deal with. And you do need to know. It will be tricky, but we will get through them. Yeah, sure. I've just been having trouble. I try to sleep to try and take my mind off of things. It makes me at least still feel human, you know? I see. Well, you can sleep sometimes. But usually we use that just to, yeah, I know what we use it for. You've given me your blood and gave me a rundown on some of it. Not all of it. But Celine, does it ever get any easier? Does it ever just get easier to deal with it? We're monsters in this world. You've been around before anything. I've just been watching the world go by. I know what you mean by you'll hit your physical prime. I feel it. My body's starting to slow down. Physically, I still feel like I'm young. But I know as I get older, it'll just be this for the rest of all eternity. Unless I die. I don't know what's worse. The option that I can live forever, watch everyone I've ever seen before disappear, watch the world move on, be a witness. I don't know. Or just die and call it that. I can't tell what's worse. The fear of death or the fear of outliving everyone. I see. My family was murdered. When I was younger. Whenever I was a very young girl, it killed my family. We had a farm. I was the only survivor. The man you killed whenever we first met. Whenever you turned into a hybrid. This creature. He took me in. I considered him to be my father. However, after taking his blood, or you giving me his blood, I saw the truth. He killed my family. Or at least Marcus did. I'm not too sure what to do. I can't go back there. Even if I did, I've been gone for so long. The Covenant wouldn't even accept me. I don't know what that's like. I'm sorry. Don't be. You showed me the truth, she would say. Her going to stand up and walk away. Now, Midoriya, as she is walking away, he actually would bring his hand up, going to grab hers. Her actually going to walk away before Midoriya to do that. As she does look behind her and see Midoriya. Him still just looking down. Him going to open his mouth to say something. But he hesitates. And his grip just does loosen. Telling Celine that he's just going to be up for a bit of time. They still have, what, more than 6 days before they have to get there. I'll begin preparations. Thank you. Now, with that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed, and have an amazing night. I'll catch you guys in the next part.